or any gas at all. Instead, it unleashes pure ion pulse technology, generating an 1800-degree plasma inferno, savage enough to slice through metal in seconds. It's 100% electric, completely windproof, waterproof, and can ignite anything anywhere, no matter the chaos. Lazara was originally forged for military... Sworn in a military barrack, meaning there's no public participation. You claim you got 98% of the votes, and yet you do not want the same 98% participating. What exactly are you scared of? Are you scared of the 98% that actually did not vote for you? But we are going to address that. There is someone we need to address today, or there is a branch in an organization that we gotta talk about today, and that's the African Union, because their move to congratulate Samia Suluhu's 98% win says everything about where Africa is right now. You are congratulating a president that has claimed near total victory after locking out her opponents, shutting down the internet, and unleashing security forces on citizens. And somehow that same body, the African Union, that is supposed to defend democracy, goes ahead and is calling that progress, calling that fair. Guys, have you seen the images on the Standard, the front cover of the Standard newspaper? Have you seen those images online? Some of them are so, I don't know, we cannot even air them ourselves, you know? And then you have the African Union congratulating this very woman. It's almost like AU has forgotten what it was created or formed for. Because when you celebrate a 98% win that has been built on fear and blood, how will you convince people that you're protecting democracy? Because you are not. You are actually enabling dictatorship. Let me read you a part of the congratulatory message from the African Union to Samia Suluhu. And it says, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Mahmoud Yusuf, takes note of the results of the presidential election in Tanzania and congratulates Her Excellency President Samia Suluhu Hassan for her victory. The chairperson deeply regrets the loss of human life. Wait a minute. You see what I'm saying, what is wrong with this African Union? First, they say that they want to congratulate Samia Suluhu. And then they say the chairperson deeply regrets the loss of human life during the post-electoral protests and extends his sincere condolences to the families of the victims. Africa, how long will they continue or keep, extending their sincere condolences to the families of the victims? If you have seen those images online, this is the last thing we needed from the African Union. You cannot congratulate someone whose victory is definitely full of blood, injustices. Are we the only person who are seeing what is happening in Tanzania? Because as I said, we have normalized keeping quiet on so many things that matter. And one of the things we need to address as Africans, and we gotta do it right now, is what is the use of the African Union? I cannot even read this whole statement, But you see, he's here saying, the chairperson recalls the principles of the African Charter on Democracy. How is congratulating Suluhu and democracy in the same statement? How do you go ahead and do that? And then you tell people, the African Union reaffirms its readiness to support the people and government of Tanzania in their efforts to preserve peace, national cohesion, and democracy. Isn't that what you're supposed to be doing, like right now? That is actually the first thing you should have done before you issued this press statement. You can see it on your screen. This is from the African Union chairperson himself. And the irony is, this is the same AU that just days ago said it was concerned about the situation in Tanzania. Okay, you moved real fast from being concerned to congratulating. Because a few hours after the results were announced, even before independent observers could verify anything,
these guys are there just congratulating Suluhu. But am I the only person who thinks this AU chair doesn't care about democracy? Has he spoken about what has just happened in Djibouti? What they've done with their election on the presidency term limit? Maybe to him, this is okay. Actually, maybe to him, we are just making noise. To claim that this man worries about democracy, saying they are concerned, and then celebrate the same woman who is dismantling the same democracy next, is a puzzle that I don't know how many of us can answer, because that is not leadership at all, at all. That is not leadership, that is pure hypocrisy. All right? Are we together? When they were busy drafting these press statements and their congratulatory tweets, you guys, you've seen what the people in Tanzania who are able to post what is happening, what is actually happening. You've seen what they've been posting. People have been shot for protesting, for asking questions, for daring to speak. Activists are scared. Someone like Mange, she cannot even tell us what is happening even on Instagram because she feels her account will even be deleted for inciting. But those images that we are seeing on our local newspapers, what are those? Are those rats? You guys, you can see it online. Young men lying lifeless on pavements. You can see that. You can see everything that is happening, all right? You have soldiers who are patrolling neighborhoods there. Like Tanzania is a war zone right now. Families are scared. Even journalists are scared. I saw someone asking, there was a conversation on why Larry Madowo was not in Tanzania. And obviously, you know, the media has been bad even from entering days before even the election took place, the casting of the ballots. And I've seen even a journalist in Tanzania saying there are things they can't post because I think there's a section in their constitution, I don't know, section 50C, but I stand to be corrected on this, that talks about national security. So you posting what is happening right now can even cost you your life because you're interfering in matters of national security. Families are even scared to claim their loved ones from hospitals, and yet the African Union somehow calls this peaceful. Peaceful for who? It is definitely not peaceful for the people in Tanzania who are still waiting for their children to come back home. It's not peaceful. The UN itself has confirmed at least 10 deaths so far, but Tanzanians are saying it's much higher, hundreds and maybe more. And the truth is, we may never know the real number because the government has silenced the media and shut down the internet. So the only thing people, have left are these shaky, heartbreaking images that we are witnessing online. And this is now what the AU wants to call peaceful. Nah, there is nothing peaceful about what is happening in Tanzania. And we must talk about it. And that's why the African Union statement is cutting so deep. When you ignore the bodies, when you ignore the fear, when you ignore the blood on the streets, you're not being neutral. You are taking sides. You're actually showing Africans who you are, what your organization believes in. It doesn't believe in protecting citizens. It's an enabler of dictators. And I know, just like me, you're wondering, why are Africa's presidents also silent? Have you noticed? Have you noticed? If you've been following, only 2 have openly congratulated this woman. Only 2. Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud praised Suluhu and called her what? Called her resilience and leadership. I don't know what he said. Guys, it was just so annoying to even take a look at. He said her victory was proof of the trust Tanzanians have in her government. Suluhu's victory is proof of the trust the people of Tanzania have in her government. He even promised to deepen brotherly ties between Mogadishu and Tanzania. Guys, look at these people. This guy is already congratulating this woman, and he's already looking at how now can we benefit from this term again. As if democracy and brotherhood can exist in the same sentence when we are talking about blood and kidnappings and executions here. Bloody streets. And then you have another mouthy one, Burundi's president, Evariste, who called Suluhu's win, a victory for East African unity. Which East African are you talking about, my friend? Which unity here can you see? And busy wishing her success on her second term, saying Burundi and Tanzania would continue working together on shared development. Again, as if the foundation of that development is not already soaked in blood. Those are the only two who have congratulated her. Everyone else, shh. Ruto has not said anything. Museveni very silent. And other African presidents here who you would have thought would be the first to congratulate Suluhu. And the silence from someone like Nani, Ruto and Museveni is not accidental. It's very calculated. They know what a 98% win means. They know how it looks to the rest of the world. 98%. Hata kama ungekuwa unabishana na kuku ungepata 98%. Aka percentage would have voted for the hen. 98%. Who are you, Sankara? 98% Suluhu. And all these presidents are quiet. They know they can't congratulate her. No, not yet. It's calculated. Wanapima. Let's first see how this turns out, Because they know deep down they have all benefited from similar systems. Elections that are predictable, controlled, and also heavily managed by them. So they are watching carefully, waiting to see how this plays out, And not because they care about Tanzania, but because they are studying how far a president can go before the world reacts. They are using her, like, right now, as a guinea pig. Let's study how far the world will, this president can go before the world starts reacting. Now, congratulate her and we will react right now. Don't tell us that this is diplomacy that is happening in these African countries. No, this is pure self-preservation, because in this club of these presidents, today to them it's Suluhu under the microscope, but tomorrow they know it could be one of us. Uganda is waiting for Museveni, Kenya is waiting for Ruto. So they know tomorrow this could definitely be one of us. So we gotta be very calculated. And I'm telling you, wait, if these people are silent, you will see those congratulatory messages. Wait, even maybe by the end of today, these presidents will have or maybe they already did. It's just that they can't do it in public right now because they know, the climate is not so, no. Anyway, let's talk about the international reaction before I wind up, because even outside Africa, the silence has just been a bit loud. The United Nations, through its Human Rights Office in Geneva, released a short statement confirming credible reports of at least 10 people killed during the protests. They called for restraint, accountability, and respect for fundamental freedoms, but obviously, they stopped short of condemning the election itself. There is no demand for an investigation, no mention of sanctions, just concern. And that's the word they will always use when they don't want to act. We are concerned. We're actually concerned about what's happening in Tanzania. We're concerned. It's always concerned. They're always concerned, guys. They're always concerned. We are going to do a whole conversation on how Trump reacted to Nigeria. But on this matter, they've also not issued any official statement congratulating or condemning Suluhu. Maybe by the time this goes up, they will have, I don't know. The embassy in Dar simply posted that, they were monitoring the situation and encouraging dialogue. In other words, they are also playing safe. China has also remained silent. By the way, it's time China started speaking on these matters because they are heavily benefiting on Africa. So they've not said anything, and that's not surprising because they have billions invested in Tanzania through infrastructure and energy projects. Now, to them, stability means business, and business matters more than democracy. You Africans, fight all you want, you know. As long as our business and our contracts are intact, we are good. We don't care who is in charge, as long as we can actually operate easily. Even the European Union, no, but I think I've seen something about the European Union. Guys, we can confirm that together on the comment section. I think they've released something and they have been a bit vocal in this crisis. Yeah, I think they have done that. So we are going to check it out on the comment section. But at the end of the day, guys, you have to ask yourself, why is it when these things happen in Africa, you don't see you don't see when these presidents calling each other out? I know it's not normal for them to call each other out in public, but where are we going? If we have organs like the African Union who do not know what they are supposed to do, I see the funding comes from the West, the global North, etc., etc. So obviously, are they serving us or not? This is part of the same pattern. When Africans die, all the world will do is observe and be concerned, you know. When elections are stolen, they'll say we are monitoring. And when a dictator is sworn in, they will talk about stability. And that's why this isn't just about Tanzania. It's about a global system that continuously rewards control and punishes people who are resisting these systems. Let's be honest. If this level of violence had happened anywhere else, all these people, presidents, international organizations, they would already be calling for emergency sessions, you know, sanctions, talking about sanctions, and the global outrage would be crazy. But when it's Africa, it's just another paragraph in a press release. We are concerned. And finally, back to the African Union, because at this point it's clear. The African Union is not just failing Africans. It's helping dictators stay in power. This organization was created to protect African people, to defend democracy, and to hold leaders accountable. But look at what it has become. It is safe to say right now that the African Union is a club of presidents who cover for each other no matter what they do. This is just a club of oldies, you know, who are just there covering for each other. Why is it? It shouldn't be the African Union. It should be the Union of African Presidents. And let's be honest, this is not a union of people anymore. It is a union of politicians who are protecting their seats. And every time they congratulate a stolen election, they send a message to other presidents. You can silence your people. You can rig elections. You can rule with fear. You can analyze them the way you want, and we will still support you. And that is why Africans are angry. Because if the African Union can watch bodies on the streets and still talk about peace, then what exactly is it standing for? And maybe it's time we stopped pretending, you know, this version of the African Union represents us, because it doesn't. It's not defending democracy, it's defending power. And what Africa needs right now is something very different. A union that actually speaks for the people, not for the presidents, not for governments, but for the people. And until that happens, the African Union will keep losing respect, because you don't even have mine. You don't even have my respect right now. Right now, you are not protecting Africa. You are just enabling dictators. Are we together? And there's no shame in calling out the African Union. No, don't scare us anymore. You continue, do away with the name Africa and call yourself President's Union or Dictators from Africa Union. I think so, right? I think they should actually give themselves another name. And I always say follow the money. which is why I'm going to do a very comprehensive episode on the African Union. Who funds them, right? Their failures in the continent, right? And have they ever stood for anything? I'm going to do a whole comprehensive episode on that. Even these African presidents that you see here, they don't care for the African Union. They don't care for the African Union. Look, how much does Kenya use to fund it? How much does Tanzania use to fund the African Union? How much does Uganda? So I think South Africa does a bit of percentage here and there. And then the rest of the funding is from the global north. So they don't care also about this union. All they care about is that there is a union that is being funded by the West that we can use to enable dictatorship in Africa. I keep saying, follow the money. When you follow the money, when you follow who the donors are, when you follow who bankrolls such organs, things start to make sense. And that is why I'm so happy for this show, because we are able to keep learning and learning and relearning. I see your comments. I appreciate you. The ones who are vibing to this move, I appreciate you. I see you on X. Yes, I understand that we are moving towards the right direction. So I really do appreciate you guys. I'm seeing the feedback. And for me, I always say, when you that's the end. When you that's the end. We cannot normalize waking up to the images that we've seen on our daily locals today. We cannot, and we should not. So that's it from our conversation today. It's going to be a day of Suluhu being sworn in, Suluhu this, and I also feel for the people who are saying they feel let down because they had so much hope in this woman. I feel you, I see you, and I understand why you would feel so let down by someone like Suluhu right now. And it's okay for you to say speak truth to power. Speak truth to power, guys. At the end of the day, you cannot say you have 98%, you won 98% of people's votes. And then you don't want to see those people happy. I mean, if Suluhu was so confident she won, she would have Diamond there performing, Akina Harmonize there performing, Akina Zuchu there performing, and the 98% of the people that voted for her shouting and celebrating, go mama, you have won. But because she knows she has not, because even the celebrities that were supporting her in the midst of these injustices know this woman has not won anything. She has to put on a dictator's face. That veil will fall off. Mask off. Africans are starting to realize nothing good comes from these presidents. And I love that Africans are uniting. When Tanzania cannot fight for itself, we will hold it. We will actually go and fight for their rights. When Ugandans can't, we will do that. When Kenya can't, we will count on South Africa, on Tanzania, on Uganda to do that. And maybe this is the best time to say Africa is ours and Africa is our business right now. Africa will no longer belong to presidents who do not respect human rights. Africa will no longer belong to presidents who think the year is 2025 and you have the audacity to be a dictator in 2025 and you think people will keep quiet. We will continue embarrassing you. We will continue speaking against you. I do not care if you are Samia Suluhu. I do not care. You kill people, we come here and talk about it. You abduct people, you come here, we talk about it. You try to abduct me as well, we will still come here and talk about it. We do not care if you look so fearless and such a hardcore. We don't actually care you are Samia Suluhu. We will call you out. 90% of votes you won. Shame on you. Shame on you. Africa should no longer wake up to such images. Let us not normalize what is happening in Sudan, in Congo, in Nigeria. Let us stop normalizing such acts. When we follow the money, when we follow the influence, and when we start calling out organs such as the African Union, then maybe we can now we are heading towards the right direction. But I see you guys, and I love that we are taking a risk and we are speaking. Please, don't be silent even when your voice shakes. Don't be silent. Let it shake, but speak, 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 speak. Today I was listening to a very beautiful song, and the song was something along, you cannot stop a man who still has a song in them. You can't, and you will not. We still have a song in us, and you will not stop us. Shame on you, African Union. And also shame on you, Djibouti. We'll talk about you soon. Thank you for subscribing. 1.43 subscribers. You guys have done good. We appreciate that. And thank you for supporting independent journalism through contributing financially. Our numbers are right there. Subscribing, commenting, sharing this video. We appreciate you. And that's it from me today. If you want to talk to me and maybe you don't want to do it through the comment section, you have a tip that you want to forward our team, info@lnn.digital. That's where you can be able to find us. I'm going to see you again in a couple of hours. So I know a lot of you have been asking, who is this man? I'm about to answer that question for you. All right? Bye.
Let's get fiscal. Lesson 2, credit card combat. Getting your finances together? Learn to master your money with Credit Karma today for a stronger tomorrow. Defend yourself against generic advice and one-size-fits-all recommendations. Credit Karma gathers offers from trusted partners, helping you quickly pin down the cards and loans that are right for you so you can build those money muscles. Harness the power of Credit Karma today to win your financial future tomorrow.
Insurance or not, GoodRx is the winning hand. No hoops, no hogwash, and no sense paying more than you have to.
With up to 80% off at pharmacies nationwide.
Even get them delivered. Lickety split.
Because when it comes to your health,
sky-high prices can get. Y'all keep wrangling them savings now, you hear?
save time and money on prescriptions. Check GoodRx.
Yesterday, as the nation was still in shock over the death of Raila Odinga, something else quietly unfolded at State House. President William Ruto signed 8 new bills into law. We are talking about 8 guys, all in one day. And not just any bills. These are laws that now touch the very core of our lives, our land, our digital space, our economy, our privacy, and even how we live and trade online. To many Kenyans, that timing felt off. I mean, as the country mourned one of its most consequential opposition leaders, the government was busy reshaping the nation's future. Guys, here are a couple of comments from you on X. And said, we shall revisit this. The fact that you've chosen to post this right now means those bills are suspect. You know very well Kenyans are distracted by Baba's death. We shall revisit. And then Kibet said, there's something mischievous about these bills, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Time